Now, GlobalAutocorrect is a piece of software that is going to correct spelling mistakes automatically, and it basically sits between the keyboard and pretty much any program that you're using on your computer, and it's going to try and correct spelling mistakes if it's pretty sure that it knows the spelling that you are actually going for. This is a piece of software that you can download from the Software Hub, and there's a lot of clever things that it does, so I think it's really worth getting hold of your own copy of this, and we're going to have a look at the things that it does now. So I've just loaded up Microsoft Word, and I've actually got GlobalAutocorrect installed and running in the background, and that's an important point actually. It is a program that literally just runs in the background, and you can see that it's running if you click on a Windows machine on the little arrow at the bottom, and we can see we've got GlobalAutocorrect running. So first of all, just to demonstrate that it is correcting spellings in the background, I'm going to type out a sentence with some mistakes in it. And we can see that GlobalAutocorrect has been fixing words as I actually type. Now, it will also work with words that perhaps you have tried to spell phonetically and you haven't quite got the spelling right. So for examples, I could type in phonetic versions of physics like that, or I could type in knowledge, or exam, or stressed, and it's going to automatically correct those based on its appraisal of those phonetic spellings. Now, if there's a word that you have to use for your course which is slightly unusual, or is a word that you often spell incorrectly but GlobalAutocorrect isn't picking that up, then you can manually add a new autocorrect to its vocabulary. So let's imagine that you were perhaps studying semiotics and you wanted to start referring to Italianicity as defined by Roland Barthes in The Rhetoric of the Image. Well, you might type that as follows: Italianicity. I'm going to deliberately spell that wrong, and unfortunately GlobalAutocorrect is not picking up on that. However, I could go in and double click on that. So the idea here is that you're keeping an eye out for spelling mistakes that you might often make when you're trying to spell this word. And if I press the F2 key on my keyboard now, we've got the option to go in and change the spelling that GlobalAutocorrect is automatically going to put in. Now, it's done its best. It's tried to make a judgment about what I'm trying to say, but it's got it wrong. So I'm going to put in the correct spelling now and add that. Now, whenever I type that again, then it'll automatically correct that to the appropriate spelling. Now, there's actually some quite handy tricks that you can play with this setup. So for instance, let's say I wanted to type in something like this, MW email, and every time that I type that shorter code, I want GlobalAutocorrect to actually put in my full email address, which is very, very long, and I keep on making mistakes when I type it out, which means that people don't get my emails, etc., etc. So for instance, I could go into that short phrase there, double click on it, press F2, and now for the correct spelling, I could go in and type in my email address. So I'm going to say Mike at very long email address.ac.co.uk. And if I click on add now, every time I go in and I do MW email, it's going to automatically put in my email address for me. So you can take short collections of letters and actually train those to do email signatures or phrases that you have to repeat quite a lot in emails. It's quite a handy little productivity hack that you can use within AutoCorrect as well.